Big green day overall in here for the markets, just a huge pop in here and a nice hold, basically not even a downtick throughout the day in here. But there is one thing that all options traders should be aware of that happened today, and that is we got a pop or a little rise in here with the VIX. So you got basically an overall melt up in the market, right? So SPY, QQQ, IWM, VIX, TLT all rose together today. So that is something that we do need to know about as we're going into trading the rest of the week in here. So we did mention in our previous videos of yesterday and a day before talking about the VIX expiration that's coming up Wednesday morning. That is probably why we got a little pop on our VIX, but I did not really expect to get a huge move in the market like we did. So you have to remember usually a normalized market is going to bring the VIX pulling back, your TLT bringing back, or your bonds pulling back with a rise in the overall market. But when everything is rising together, then the question is, what is going to give first? And also, we have to be aware that this move, it's a very strong move. This happened without Apple. It happened without Tesla. Nvidia helped us yesterday, but today didn't really do a whole lot for us. So this whole move, especially in your S&Ps, very, very strong and coming from all different places in here. So this is going to be something that we need to watch out as be aware of as we're going through the end of the week in here to figure out what is going to happen and what is going to give first. Are we going to get a nice little blow off in here with our VIX and then a little bit of a pullback in our overall market? What is going to happen? So first up, we're going to look at the VIX in here on the weekly chart. You can see a green week so far in here. To the upside, we're mainly watching that mid 17 area. We mentioned that earlier. That's where our moving averages are all kind of converging right now. So you still have that 50-day trading right around that $18 mark, 200 sitting at 1773, and then that 9-day EMA sitting at 1723. So they're all kind of bunched up right here. We're going to see what sort of separation we are going to get overall, and then see where this kind of takes us going forward as we continue into the rest of the week. We're also going to look at the SPY in here on our weekly chart. And you can see a nice little pop in here. And hey, would you look at that? It's right where our trend line is. So what are the chances of that? It's almost like technical analysis sometimes works as it calls out different supports and resistances and overall trends. So we're right up against our overall trend line right now. We had a high in here of 773 today, little pullback to end today, 771. We got about a $4 expected move being priced in by tomorrow's expiration. So we're going to see how that affects us. Our RSI obviously rose today pretty largely from where it was yesterday. The volume in here is going to be more likely stronger this week than it was last week, just because of the big move that we got, and any sort of downtick, you probably going to get a pretty decent sell off, I would say. Nothing crazy, but a decent enough to where the volume is still going to be there, and volume is still going to be kicking in. So RSI sitting here at 67. That's in relation to where we were yesterday, about those low 60s. So nice little pop in there. But all in all, we are sitting up here. Anything above 773, nice whole numbers, right? 775, 777, etc. Working our way up to that nice big 780 number. But all in all, huge move in here to the downside. What are we watching? 760. That's kind of like our main area. Outside of that, the 9-day EMA 747. I don't think we're going to get back down there anytime soon, but a nice big strong move in here today to the upside. We're also going to take a look at the Qs in here, just because they also they're not at all-time highs like the SPYs are, but overall a decent move in here. We're climbing back up to focus on this upper trend line up in here. I'm not sure if we're going to quite get there, just because we're probably going to get a downtick in the SPUs before the Qs can get up there. But if we do some little consolidating in here with your SPY, maybe take a breather tomorrow, it kind of rotate back into some of these major tech and chip stocks, then hopefully we can get a pop in here. Not that we kind of rotated fully out of them today, because you still had a pop in your overall Qs in here, but the push wasn't there that you would really like to see, especially with the market being at all-time highs. So to the upside in here, what are we looking at? We are going to be watching that 738, then 748. To the downside in here, we are watching 711, and then 704, and then that 700 level right down here as far as our major supports. We're going to go back to our VIX in here. Again, this is just a strong reminder in here that it's all about these moving averages in here. If we can get some sort of expansion or contraction away, then that's going to give us a better idea of what have we just mentioned that this pattern, we've been kind of wrapped around all these moving averages. You can go all the way back to May in here. As soon as we stray away from it, we just get a nice little pop, and then we come right back down to that moving average, and we stray away from it again, right back to the moving average. So this week we suspected that we were going to get a little pop in the VIX, but the overall melt up in the market coming with it was definitely something, especially as large of a move as it was something that was not really expected that much. So the one key takeaway from this video is that for options traders, is that the VIX rose today along with the bonds and as everything else went up. So we need to keep that in mind as we're going forward. Our volatility did not compress today. So therefore, are we going to get more of an expansion, or once it starts to compress, are we going to get more of a pop in the overall market? Do we need to consolidate in the overall markets and then just kind of be flat tomorrow? That's kind of what we're looking at. But all in all, if we get any sort of jump in our VIX that's going to be larger than what we just had today, and the market doesn't really go with it, then beware, because we might get a little pullback in here. So, but all in all, congrats to everybody who got on the calls today. Basically, if you were just in those, a lot of the zero DTE lottos in here, just buying calls, congrats. I mean, you could have turned $500 into about 50 grand easily in your Qs or your SPYs. So congrats to everybody in here, but we're going to see how things shake out tomorrow and then go from there. But again, your VIX is elevated. Nice little melts up with the overall market. We're going to see what stocks were lagging today, if they're going to recover tomorrow, and the stocks that kind of pushed everything higher today, what they're going to do in relation to those as well. So let's see what happens as we continue throughout the week in here. All right, guys, if you like this video, make sure to check us out on all of our social media. We also have a Discord service if you are interested, and you can find all of our socials in the description below.